Hello everyone. So yeah, welcome to our webinar today. The topic will be the journey to chemical engineers. So thanks for joining us this evening. Now I see some attendance coming in. That's total around, okay, still coming in. That's good. Yeah, so we're gonna to wait for another few minutes to allow more people to join us. In the meantime, we also have this Facebook Live in Utah for you. If you have some friends or family that are unable to join us through this Zoom channel, ask them to follow us in our Facebook as well. We will go in live there. Okay. So we're gonna to wait another around 3 minutes to have more friends to join us in this evening. Hello, I see some friend here. Hi, Gary. Hello. Hi. Hi, today seems like the crowd a bit not so active compared to previous. I only see one people around. Hi. Yeah, so yeah, since now we are still waiting for more people to join us for this webinar, just allow me to introduce myself first. So my name is Ken from Division of Program Promotion in Utah. And I will be the moderator for this tonight webinar. So before we started, let me just quickly brief for today's rundown. Okay. So this webinar will be separated into two parts. The first part will start with our topic first, which is the journey to chemical engineer. And we follow a short Q&A sections in the end of this webinar. So you are welcome to post your questions in this Q&A tab offered in this Zoom system. So later we will pick up the questions and review it together in the end of this webinar. Okay, so make sure you post your question in this Q&A tab, yeah? Or else we unable to take up your questions. The whole webinar will be taking around 1 hour. So we will start our webinar in sharp in 8:30. So there's still around 2 minutes left. We wait for another 2 minutes. So now maybe we talk about today our speaker. As you see in the stream, today our speaker is Dr. Sim Jiahui, Assistant Professor from Li Gongqian of Faculty of Engineering and Science. She graduated from bachelor degree in chemical engineering in UPM and followed by completing both master and PhD, majoring in chemical engineering as well in USM. So her area of specialties will be focusing on like enzyme catalysts, fermentation technologies, and membrane technologies, and also renewable energy. Okay, so this is just a roughly background for our speaker today. So now is almost the time. So without any delay, let us welcome our speaker today, Dr. Sim. Hi, Dr. Sim, are you there? Hi, Dr. Sim.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry.
Dr. Sim, can you turn on your camera as well? We can't see your face.
Later, I'm selecting the camera. Why cannot? Later.
In the Zoom
Stop
function
my
below,
video.
there's a video button to allow us to see your face.
But it actually cannot start. Can you see my face?
Yeah, we see your face. Hi, Dr. Sim. Hi.
Okay, finally.
Yeah,
Okay.
finally, good evening.
Okay. So right now, can I share my views on these journeys to chemical engineers?
Yeah, sure. I will pass the show to you for this our today webinar.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Okay,
Thank you.
Good evening to all the audience. I'm actually the Sim, lecturers from Chemical Engineering Departments, which is under Li Gongqian's Faculty of Engineering and Science in Utah. So tonight, actually, we'd like to share some insights regarding these chemical engineering disciplines from 4 aspects. So the first one will be, we'd like to share the major job scopes of the chemical engineers. And then secondly, maybe I would like to discuss about what's the major subjects of chemical engineering degree programs. So also I will actually introduce also some learning activities in the university. And lastly, maybe I will introduce to you for the career prospects for that is related to chemical engineering. Okay, since chemical engineering is a sub-discipline from the family of engineering, so I will start my today presentations by introducing what is engineering. So engineering is actually is a profession that actually applies science, mathematics knowledge, besides also the engineering working principles to find the best solutions to solve the society problems. Okay, so in short, engineers actually is a problem solvers who make the things work better, more efficient, quicker, and in a cheapest way. So there are 4 branches in the chemical engineering families. There's 4 branches under the engineering families. So the first one probably is the chemical engineering. Second will be civil engineering. Third, electrical engineering. And fourth will be mechanical engineering. So let's take a close look on the job scope that is offering by these 4 major disciplines. So chemical engineering is actually a profession that applies physics, chemistry, biology, and engineering's working principles to design and create a chemical process in industry skills. Whereas for civil engineers will actually design and construct the public's or private infrastructures, such as the bridges, the roads, railways, the water catchment system, or water treatment system. After that will be electrical engineers. So electrical engineers also will design and manufacture various of electricals and electronic system, such as the telecommunication system and also the instrumentations and control system, which is widely applied in a chemical process. And lastly will be a mechanical engineering. So mechanical engineers actually working very hard to design and manufacture the physical and mechanical system, such as the aircraft products and also the transportation products. So you might wondering which faculty in Utah will actually offer these 4 main branches of engineering. So Lee Kwang Chen's Faculty of Engineering Science do offer these 4 main branches of engineering. Despite these 4 branches, the Lee Kwang Chen Faculty of Engineering Science also offers other engineering discipline, such as the Bachelor of Engineering in Biomedical Engineering and a Bachelor's of Engineering in Electronics in Computer Networking, and also the Bachelor of Engineering, which is in Mechatronics Engineering. So where actually this Lee Kwang Chen's Faculty of Engineering Science is located? So LKC FES or Lee Kwang Chen Faculty of Engineering Science is actually located in the KB blocks, which is located in the Utah Sungai Long campus. So where is Utah Sungai Long campus? Utah Sungai Long campus is actually located at the hub of Bandar Sungai Long, where the campus is actually located at the very strategic locations, surrounded by the various commercial areas and also the housing area. So you actually will find out there's actually many amenities and also facilities in the commercial area, such as the convenience shops, clinics, banks, and also the various foods that's offered by the restaurants. So for accommodation wise, the student actually can rent a room in the nearby condominium or the double-story house. For transportation methods, there's a bus station that is just located in front of Utah Sungai Long campus. So, so this is the how it looks like, the surroundings of the LKCFES buildings is surrounded by the amenities that just now I mentioned to you. Okay, so now we move to today's topics, which is the journeys of chemical engineers. So many students, after leaving the secondary schools, they might have a doubts to find out the suitable degrees programs for their study. So how you going to know that you have made the right choice for your study? So there are some tips that I would like to share with you here. So maybe you can ask yourself some questions. So do you actually know that what actually you're going to study for chemical engineering degree programs? So what kind of skills and also the knowledge that is have to equip with the fresh graduate engineers so that they enables them to perform well in the industry. So after graduating, you also may wonder which industry I should apply the jobs. So lastly is about the career advancement. So after you have graduating, you also have wonders that how can I advance my knowledge in the career of chemical engineering professions? So actually you can find these informations in today's presentations. Okay. So here I would actually like to share one short video clips that's actually produced and recorded by our current chemical engineering students. So in this particular video, we actually reflected the doubts that they are actually reflected the doubts that they have for the students that is first entry to our chemical engineering programs, and then the sweet and bitter times that they have during the study times in the university. So we'd like to share this to you. Then at the end of the videos, we actually have they highlighted one of the insight event. So this insight event is actually a yearly event of a chemical engineering conference that is specifically organized to the participants of chemical engineering students, chemical engineering industry, and also the lecturers. So I'd like to share this video clip with you all.
This is our lovely Utah, and this is the place we started our story. I'm Alan. After finishing foundation and orientation, I'm finally a CL student. So, what is a CL student? CL stands for Chemical Engineering, and what are we doing? Let me show you a simple example. This is an engineering student. This is a chemistry student. And this is what they learned. Quite a lot, right? He is a chemical engineering student, and this is what he needs to study. Pretty much. Hi.
Hey class, we are going to start our class already. Can I ask, why you all join CL? You lah? Yeah.
Oh, I joined CL because I very like chemistry.
Okay.
At that moment, I was still wondering why lecturers showing their face. But until
one semester later.
As a newcomer of CL student, what makes me more excited is we're gonna conduct lab for our research. After a few semesters, we get used to our CL life, concentrating and behave carefully in the lab. serious a bit. Cooperating to complete the assignment at any time and anywhere, like some kind of advertising slogan. Enjoying study, new knowledge, and exam. I just started my CL life for a few semesters. There are still a lot of CL dailies to experience, but most unforgettable memories in my CL life is Insight. Insight is a Utah Chemical Engineering Conference. It serves as a platform for students to be exposed in the industry. Committee is having a lot of meetings to discuss the best solution to make Insight happen. Before the event, there are lots of preparation needed to be planned and worked out. Insight is an event, but not only an event. Insight is a big family for CL students. Insight is also a way for CL students to create our own memories.
Okay, hopefully the videos will give you all a better views on the study life of chemical engineering students in our campus. So right now we move to the chemical engineering, the careers and the job scopes of the chemical engineering. So we are before that we actually wondering like since when this chemical engineering professions is emerging. So chemical engineering actually began in the 19th centuries, which is when the time is the industrial revolutions. So a man's name, George Davis, is actually well known as the father of chemical engineering. He actually gave a series of lectures in the Manchester University in 1887. So in the next year, which is in 1888, the MIT will actually introduce the first chemical engineering degrees. So as mentioned earlier, the chemical engineering is actually a discipline or professions that change the raw material or the waste materials into a useful product by creating a manufacturing process. So the useful products that have been produced by a manufacturing process, such as clothes, food and drinks, and also the energies. So food processing industry is actually closely related to the chemical engineering job scope. So so here I actually will give you an example so that you will have a clearer view on what is the role of chemical engineer. So in the food processing industry, let's say you want to produce yogurt drinks. So actually you need to have raw materials or the ingredients such as the milk, sugars, and also the culture of good materials to be used as the raw material to produce the yogurt drinks. So how you're going to convert it to become yogurt drinks at the end? So there's come the chemical engineering means job scopes where they actually design the series of equipments with a specific functions that are able to convert those ingredients into a good quality of yogurt drinks. So let me introduce, give me some brief introduce about the Department of Chemical Engineering in Utah. So this, as mentioned earlier, the Department of Chemical Engineering is actually located at the Utah Sungai Long campus. And then this Utah Chemical Engineering programs in Utah is actually a program that is being accredited by the EAC. So you are wondering what is a EAC? So EAC is actually a body that is responsible to accredit the engineering programs that is being offered in the university in Malaysia. So why it is so important that the engineering programs being accredited by the EAC or BEM? So the student that is actually graduating from the program that has been accredited by the EAC, then only he or she will be eligible to register with the BEM as the graduate engineers. So at the same time, he able to carry these graduate engineers titles to perform his work in the engineering professions. So maybe you are wondering, like, what is the Board of Engineers? So Board of Engineers or the BEM is actually the institute. Is actually the administrative body that is work under the Ministry of Works Malaysia. And then this institution actually responsible to maintain the registrations of engineering graduates. Besides that, it also this institution also serves as a controller to determine the ethics and also the conducts for those that is involving in the engineering work field. So maybe after you have spent a few years in your university study, you have graduating, and then you carry the titles of graduate engineers and perform the works in the industry after the few years, you may like to actually achieve a higher level in the engineering professions. So so you may consider to actually sit for the exams that will actually qualify you to become a professional engineer. So you are wondering also, like, what is the requirements of the professional engineers? So the first requirement is the applicants to actually would like to sit for professional engineer. He or she have to be registered as a graduate engineer with the BEM. Okay. Then secondly, the applicants actually have to select one of the routes that is been listed in the BEM websites to become a professional engineers. So maybe here I show slides what is the criteria or the steps that is consists on the routes number 1. So if you like to obtain a professional engineers, follow the route number 1. You actually have to spend at least, for fresh graduate or the graduate engineers, have to spend at least 2 years in the general trainings. And then he also have to spend at least 1 year of professional trainings, which is under the supervisions of the professional engineers in the same discipline. Okay, then after that, the students will actually have to submit a technical report that consists of his working experiences. And finally, he actually can sit for the professional assessment examination that is being conducted by the BEM. So right now, I actually would like to introduce to you to the study life of chemical engineering in university. So for chemical engineering programs, we actually there are actually 3 semesters in 1 year. So there's a January trimester, May trimester, and October trimester. So for each semester actually consists of the 14 weeks of teaching weeks and 4 weeks of the exam weeks, followed by the 4 weeks of the semester break. So for chemical engineering students, they actually need to spend a total of 4 years to complete the study of chemical engineering degree programs in Utah. So here actually, I would like to introduce to you some of the major subjects of chemical engineering degree programs. So we'll introduce to students plant process, the material and energy balance that's applied in the plant process in the year 1 study. Then chemical reaction engineering will be offered in the year 2. study. Then followed by this chemical process control and instrumentations, which will be offered in the year 3 study. And we also have this process safety and management, which will actually offer in your year 3 subjects also. And then finally, we actually require students to complete a capstone project, which takes a duration of 1 year. And student also is required to undergo industry trainings for at least 3 months in the October semester. So let us take a close look on the topics and knowledge that have been taught to the students under the of the major subjects that is related to the chemical engineering programs. So in year 1 study, students have been taught and introduced to some of the major industry that is closely related to the chemical engineer, such as the oil and gas industry, rubber and polymer industry, pharmaceutical industry, oil palm processing, and also the food processing industry. So for oil and gas industry, we actually can be divided into two main sections. So the first will be the petroleum production sections, where the crude oil will actually extracted from the grounds and then went through this oil refining process or facilities to produce naphtha fuels that is being used to power our transport stations. So second sections will be this naphtha after they have been refined from the crude oil in the first sections. They will undergo a second processing system, which is the steam cracking reactions. Then to further cracks to become ethylene, propylene, and others petrochemicals products. So these ethylene and propylene that is categorized as a petrochemical products can further derive to become industry products that is we always known by as solvents, coatings, adhesive glues, and also the chemicals of textile. So since Malaysia is the second largest palm oil producer, so of course you will easily find there's number of palm oil processing factories in the Malaysia. So what kind of chemical products can be actually produced from this palm oil besides the palm oil that can be used as a cooking oil in our daily life? So there's 3 major products that can be directly derived from this palm oil, which is glycerin, fatty acid, and fatty acid methyl ester. So this glycerin is actually is a main ingredient that you can easily find in skincare products and also the cosmetics. Whereas for fatty acid methyl ester, or we at the short name we call it a FAME, is a biodiesel that has been used as a renewable and clean energies to power the vehicles. So right now we are going to introduce these subjects of material energy balances. So these material energy balances that's applied to the process design will be introduced to the student in a year 2 study. So what student can be learned is we actually will teach them the concept and also the calculations methods that need to perform the material balance and also the energy balance for the chemical processes. So what is actually the material energy balance for the process? So you may imagine that you are given actually a task by the supervisor to produce the ester from the carboxylic acid and also the carboxylic acid and also the alcohol. So you actually would like to use a batch reactors to mix these 2 raw material, carboxylic acid and alcohol in the batch reactors to produce the ester. Then your boss also requests you to actually produce 5 kg of the ester at the end of the process. So that's why you have wondering, if I want to produce 5 kg of the ester at the end of the process, so how much is the amount or how much is the carboxylic acid and the alcohol that I need to fit into the reactor so that I'm able to achieve or gets a 5 kg of the ester at the end of the reactions. So right now, so how you're going to get these skills? So you need to study and or perform your material balance to get the answers. So how about for the reactions? For the energy balance. So for the reactions happen, heat need to provide or supplies so that the reaction can be proceed to the completion. So in order to ensure that reactions to complete to the completions, you need to perform the energy balance to define or determine the best temperatures for the reactor. Okay, and then we also would like to introduce to you about these chemical reactions engineering subjects. These chemical reactions engineering subjects were actually introduced to students in the year 3. So for the subjects, the student will learn the working principles of different type of reactors. And also they're able to learn that what's the methods used to calculate the durations time that is needed for the reactions to start their reactions until the completion of the reaction. So what is the total reactions that is needed for the reactions that has taken place in the reactor? Okay, so maybe we can have a closer look on a few examples to understand more what is the contents of the chemical reactions engineering. So let's say that you also have the same reactions. You are using a batch reactor to actually produce an ester from the carboxylic acid and alcohol. So right now, you're also wondering, so how long it takes to produce a 5 kg of the ester? Okay, how long you need to take or you need to wait so that the reactions will able to produce a 5 kg of the ester at the end. Okay, so second question is you're also wondering what is the size of the reactors that is needed to produce a 5 kg of ester? Is it how large is the size of the reactor I need to use? So this come to the diameters and also the height of the reactors and also the internal design of the reactors that I must have so that I can successfully produce 5 kg of the ester at the end of the reactions. Okay, the third problems that is related to the chemical reactions that students might find the solution is, okay, in a industry or in the design of any type of chemicals process, you're always dealing with different type of reactions. So you might have reactions that is used to produce ammonia. You also have a different type of reaction pathway that's used to produce a 1,2-dichloroethane, as here. Okay, so the student also have to figure out which type of reactor is actually most suitable to use to produce the product that I want. So for ammonia productions, can I use a CSTR to actually act as a reactor to convert the nitrogens and hydrogens to become the ammonia at the end of the process? Will these reactors be suitable to be used? Or can I use a PBR? Is this PBR actually can be deal with these gas reactors and also will produce a product at the end? Can I deal with this ammonia product also? And then same go to the PFR, okay? So for different type of reactions, you're also wondering which type of reactor is actually most suitable for my reactions. So how you're going to know it? So you will learn the skills and also the criteria for you to decide which reactors were actually suitable in these chemical reactions engineering subjects. So another thing is about the optimizations. So you're also wondering, like the examples I showed you earlier. So you actually find out that you need five hours to actually 5 hours to complete the reactions. So you want to optimize the process. So you want to shorten the reaction time that is needed to achieve a 5 kg of ester. So how you're going to improve it? So you might have the temperature, you can increase the temperatures. You can use with the aid of a catalyst to accelerate the reactions further. Or you can use the excess of the reactions to force your reversible reactions to go forwards further to produce more products that you want. Okay, so beside the student learn how to create a manufacturing process, so we also introduce a process safety and management subjects to cultivate the student to ensure that the process or the plants that they have been created will be safely to be operated by the operator. So the examples of the importance of the process safety and management elements is for the just now the design of your ration system to produce the ester products. You also might wondering, I'm using the batch reactors to produce the ester product that I want. So you are actually wondering, do I actually need to in place this temperature control system embedded together with my optimal temperature or the operating temperature for my reactors? So is it a need for this control system from the aspect of safety? Okay. So we actually, you also have to think about if the temperatures of the system is not being controlled, so or the temperature control system is not being in place together with the reactors, so that might have the consequences that lead to the reactor temperature might be run away, which will cause the fires and also at the explosions of in the workplace due to the uninstall or unincorporate this temperature control system with the reactors. So in the final year of the chemical engineering studies, the students actually required to design a complete process plant for the manufacturing of the chemical products. So they actually have to come up with the complete design of the manufacturing of the products prior to the construction of the real chemical plant. Okay, so when completing the designing works, the student actually have the chance to carry out the preliminary study of the new chemical plants. Okay, they learn the skills to actually to produce a set of process drawing that's needed for the constructions of this chemical plant. They also learn the techniques that can be used to optimize the process plant that they have created to make it more cost effective. Okay, then after that also, they also learn the techniques to actually, they also have to carry out the economic analysis to check that the chemical plant that they have created earlier is feasible in terms of the economic perspective. So you also have wonderings how engineers have the ideas to create a new plant, under what conditions that the new plant will actually emerge. So design opportunity is actually, we call it as a design opportunity. So this design opportunity will always embarked by the society needs. So example of the society problem is like the housewife always facing the problems of cleaning the food residue that been sticks or stuck on the cooking pan. So scientists and engineers will actually have discovered a new materials such as a Teflon. They have slippery properties of or the slippery surface. Then this material will actually is able to coat on the cooking pan surface to avoid the sticking of this food residue. Okay, so here comes a new demand for these new chemical products. So the chemical engineers will actually propose to the managers saying that, okay, there's a new demand for this new chemical product in the society. So I will actually propose to come out with to create a new plant to the production of this Teflon product. So before building the new chemical plant, the engineers also have to check the feasibility and also the sustainability of new chemical plant before they start the design work. So during the feasibility study, students will actually have to check what is the current demand of the Teflon product they're going to produce, and then what's the projected demand for this Teflon product in future 10 years or 15 years. If the projected demands is actually in the increasing trend, then we can conclude can conclude that the new chemical plant might be feasible, okay, to be built. So this diagram actually shows the steps that chemical engineers have to go through before the completion of the process design for their new chemical plant. So this is also as the process drawing that the student learn and command it during the capstone projects. So the sets of process drawing that I have learned during the design works is like the process flow diagrams, which consists of the major equipments and also the conditions for your process flow or streamline. Okay, then after that, they have additional informations like the piping and instrumentations to the process flow diagrams, and then come up with the piping and instrumentations diagram. This diagram will actually is useful and needed for the construction of your new chemical plant. And then also they also learns how to come up with the mechanical drawing for the equipments that they have placed in the chemical or manufacturing process. Okay, lastly also, the student will carry out the economic analysis to ensure that the plant they have created or designed is profitable, feasible. Okay, so throughout this 1 year's capstone projects, the student actually realize that the objective of the chemical engineers is actually to design a plant that is capable to producing a specific range of chemicals at the correct or desired capacity, and also at the right price. And at the same time also, they have to think about taking into account the constraints that might be facing when they design the chemical plants, such as the times that's taken to build out the chemical plants, and then what is the cost or the budgets that is being approved by the top management to build out this new chemical plant. Okay. Not only that, they also have to think about whether the plant is safe to be operated by the operators, and then is the new chemical plant that they have built exerts any hazards, environmental impacts to the environment. Okay. Okay, and then after that, our student also have to undergo industry training for at least 3 months. Throughout these industry trainings, the student actually have the opportunities to have experience on the real life working. Okay, and also at the same time, through the industry training, the student able to actually work independently and also work as a team with the other engineers. Okay, besides studying the chemical engineering subjects in the lecture tutors, student also needs to perform a laboratory works that is related to the subjects that learn in the class. So example is student also learn the techniques, how to use these analytical equipments to perform the characterization studies on the materials. So they have to know that how to use the analytical instruments such as the BET, gas chromatography, HPLC, SEM to find out the properties of the materials. Besides that, the student also learns the techniques how to operate the separations column or the separators in a pilot scale, and also learns how to operate the chemical reactor in a safe manner. Of course, it's a pilot scale in our lab. So lastly, the student also train to learn that to tune the process back into the steady state when there's a disturbances. So this picture actually shows that the chemical engineering laboratories in Utah actually well equipped with those equipments that I had mentioned earlier. So besides that, the undergrad student also have a chance to actually take part in the research activities. So the students actually needs to complete a mini projects that is supervised by the lecturers. And then students actually is able to learn the skills such as they're able to find out the useful information through the literature search. And then after they have equipped with the literature informations, know well with their research study, they actually have to propose the suitable methods to carry out the research works that have been designed or assigned by them earlier. And also the student also learn the techniques to collect the data, analyze the data that have collected in the labs, and then present it in a scientific report. Okay, the student also have the chance to actually involve with the research activities together with the postgrad students. So through the involvement of these research activities with the postgrad student, the student able to learn the specific skills for the specific research works, such as the student will learn the skills how to synthesize the biodegradable plastic products with the guidance from lecturers and also the postgrad students. So there's actually a lot of research activities that have been actively carried out in the chemical engineering departments. So among them are like the synthesizing of these biodegradable plastics by using a natural starch as the ingredients in fabricating the plastics, ensures that the plastic able to biodegrades after some time. And they will impose a minimum harm to the environment. Okay, second research projects that I would like to highlight here is we also actively involved in the research, try to use waste products or waste resources, convert the waste resources to become useful products to produce, to synthesize it to become a catalyst that can be used to produce valuable chemical products in the industry. So one of it is the student actually have successfully used the eggshells, collect the eggshells from the hawker store, and then convert it to become a catalyst that this catalyst will actually able to convert the vegetable oils to biodiesel, which is a clean and renewable energies for the vehicle use. Okay, the third one, which is also actively involved, is the carbon quantum dots, synthesizing the carbon quantum dots to use as a photocatalyst for wastewater treatment. So besides the class lecturings, the student also have organized this chance. They have a chance to actually visit the few manufacturing companies which is in Malaysia every year. So example is like the Heineken visit. The student have the site experience on the beer brewing process that have been currently adopted in the industry. So another visit will be in the Sam Darby plantations. So throughout these site visits, the student actually expose and learn also the palm cultivation steps and also the palm oil milling for the process. Okay, besides the class lecturing that is given by our lecturers, we also invite the professional chemical engineers from the industry to give the guest lectures to the student on the fields that they are expert. So such as they actually give the talks on the current membrane technologies that have been used in the wastewater treatment system. So besides the learning activities, we also encourage our students to participate in the national and international competitions. So for this Schneider Go Green competitions, our student actually won the champions for the Malaysia finals and also eligible to actually participate in the APEC final. And also there's some awards that's been win in these competitions. We have sent a team of students to participate in these National Chemical Engineering Symposiums competitions. And then we actually able to win the 3 awards in these competitions. The first one we won the first runner-up in these technical case study competitions. Second award will be a second runner-up for this technical presentations competitions. And then thirdly, we also won a second runner-up for this technical essay writing competition. So in chemical engineering departments, we actually have the student societies for chemical engineering discipline. So we name it as the IChemE student chapters in Utah. This society will actually actively organize any site visits to various chemical plants, talks, and seminars by the professional engineer from the industry as well. So besides that, the society also organizes a yearly event, which is a chemical engineering conference, like just I mentioned earlier. What's the objective for this chemical engineering conference? We have the objective to organize this conference is actually to give a platform to bridge the gaps between the student and also the industry. Okay, so there's a series of activities being organized during these 4 days of chemical engineering conference, which includes the products exhibitions by the chemical engineering related companies. We also have organized also plant process design competitions, which we opens to our chemical engineering students. We also have 8 mini games. There's features with this extra curricular knowledge about the chemical engineering. We also have this forum and technical talks, and also the appreciations needed, appreciations dinner. So here, actually, I would like to share a video consists of the activities that have been organized by IChemE student chapters. regarding the chemical engineering's career prospects, we actually were glad and pleased to announce that the employment for the chemical engineering will actually increase by 8% from 2016 to 2026. So according to the reports that we found from the trusted resources. So from the pie chart showing here, the chemical engineers actually works in almost every industry, which is they affects the productions directly or indirectly. So from here, we actually can see that there's a high employment of chemical engineers, especially in the chemicals industries, fuel industry, and also the food and beverages industries. Okay, for the placements of for the internships placement and also the job recruitments, Utah is lucky to actually consistently receive the strong supports from the industry. So such as the Honeywell, Technic, Petronas, and ExxonMobil, we would like to acknowledge their supports to the Utah. So towards the end of the presentations, we as the academics, we always aim to nurture the chemical engineers to be always sensitive to the society needs and also always finding the best solutions for the problems that is been facing by the society, and then try to create a chemical process that is safe to be operated and also environmental would like to offer a cheap and affordable price for the product cost, for the betterment of the human life, and also for the society. So lastly, I strongly believe that every professions have their roles to play and also their own responsibility. So scientists will actually investigate that which is already is, engineer create that which has never been for a better life for the human and also the society. So that's all for my presentations today. And thanks for spending your times with us. I hope that you all have a grateful night. Thank you.
Okay, wow, I'm back. Okay, so wow, thank you so much for Dr. Sim, very informative and very comprehensive sharing today. So I hope everyone actually can learn some or able to differentiate like what is the differences between different engineering fields and what is the advantage or what is the strength in studying chemical engineering. Okay, so lastly, we still got around 5 minutes left. Maybe we any questions we can pick up from the Q&A tab. Let me see, is there any question posted here? Okay, seems like no questions posted yet. So for those who have questions, you can post your question in the Q&A tab. While in the waiting, so maybe I just ask a question for Dr. Sim lah, since we are waiting some questions, open questions.
Okay, all right.
Just now, you mentioned students have a lot of research opportunity, right, during their degree
Undergrad study.
right? Any example of it, like what kind of our student able to achieve?
How they actually involving in these research activities, right? So the lecturers will actually announce what kinds of research expertise or research activities that is currently going on in Utah. So they will actually announce and promote to the students. So if undergraduate students is interested, they actually can works and register under these undergraduate research schemes to works for the activities, research activities that have been mentioned by the lecturers before. So of course, undergraduate students, they have no experience to perform this research work. So they actually join in the research work together with the postgrad students. So learn from that, how to actually, the examples is the research activity will be very specific. The skills that needed to perform the research project will be very specific. So they actually learn these specific skills actually is from the postgrad students. So they are not actually conducting and completing the whole project, but they're actually learning through together with postgraduate while they're going to complete their projects for master study and also the PhD study. So on and off lah. So wherever they have time, they have to wherever they have time, only they can involve in the research activities. We didn't actually compulsory them to spend how many hours per week that they must involve in these research activities.
Okay, that's good.
Ah.
Good to hear that. And then, yeah, I saw some open questions by
Okay.
our friends tonight. So, yeah, the first question from Siu Hong. If I'm very good in chemistry, does it mean I will do well in chemical engineering?
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
So, of course, from the contents of the presentations that's now shows clearly since that's the chemistry's elements in chemical engineering course structures were probably very less, which is around 20 to 30% only. So if you are good in chemistry, you also have to be good in other subjects, such as the maths, physics, biologies. Okay, so you have to good in these subjects because for chemical engineering, we always deal with the engineering working principles. So you're going to solve the problems that's facing by the publics. You need to perform the calculations to solve the problems or design the tanks. So chemistry will, if you have a good knowledge in the chemistry, you're not able to perform well in the engineering calculations if you are weak in your mathematics subjects and also the physics.
Okay.
So I hope that
So,
this answer your questions.
yeah, hopefully this answer your questions. Because of time issue, maybe we just pick the last questions from Tung Hui. In Malaysia, is it chemical engineer need in skincare or cosmetic field?
Yes. So the skincare and cosmetic company, you actually can find like the they actually like the Wipro Unza, which they actually produce this skincare product like the Carrier Juniors that we are using right now. We actually have the placement of the internships of our student in this Wipro Unza. They're actually producing these Jimvera products also, and also these Carrier Juniors and also others skincare products. So it's proven.
Yeah. So hopefully this answer your questions where just now Dr. Sims like also share that actually chemical engineering covers a lot of field,
Yeah,
cosmetic as
almost
well.
every field.
Yeah, almost every field like you if you saw the slide just now there's like petrochemicals and then
Yeah,
even
like chemical
biotechnology.
engineer, sometimes also known as a universals engineer.
Sure. So yeah, so for those unable to answer a question, you can send us an email for this inquiry at utah.edu.my. We can answer you from there. And so that basically end our webinar today. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us. So feel free to follow us in our Utah Facebook. We will have more upcoming webinar. If you're interested, just register yourself in the Zoom and then we will see you next time. So goodbye everyone and thank you so much for Dr. Shim sharing today.
All right. Thanks again, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. Okay. See you
Okay,
all.
thank you. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Bye bye.